My name is Pinky Gilani and I'm with Krupa Chohan, who's the sales director of Mi Vida. Welcome, Krupa.
Thank you for having me, Pinky.
So what is Mi Vida?
So, Mi Vida, which means my life in Spanish, is actually a middle-income housing platform that was recently launched in Kenya.
And when was it established?
So Mi Vida was actually established, or I'd say launched, last year in August, which is when we opened the show houses here at Garden City.
And who are the partners of Mi Vida?
So Mi Vida is actually backed by two giants, we like to call them. One is Actis and one is Shapoorji Pallonji Real Estate. I'll just tell you a little bit more about them. So Actis is a growth markets investor. They invest into sub-Saharan Africa, the South Americas and Asia, and they're primarily invested into real estate, private equity. So even here in Kenya, we own Java. So we recently bought out the Abraj Africa group. So we own Java, we've got a stake in Brookside Dairy, in Auto Express, and then the real estate arm is the one that's doing Garden City Mall, Mi Vida now here, the Garden City Business Park, which is EABL's headquarters. 70 years worth of experience in growth markets. And then there's Shapoorji Pallonji Real Estate, which are part of the bigger Shapoorji Pallonji group, which is one of the biggest conglomerates in India. They've been in construction 150 years plus. And they've built everything and anything from bridges to tunnels to the palace for the Sultan of Oman, capitalized at $80 billion. And now they've come together to bring us Mi Vida.
So what makes Mi Vida stand out from other property developers, especially given that they've been struggling over the last few years to complete projects?
I think for Mi Vida, what's different is one, just, like I said, the partners that we have backing us, they've committed 12 billion shillings or $120 million to this platform. So we are equity funded. We're not under financial pressure, in terms of the money that we'll use to build. But also I think it's just the level of pedigree that these two partners of ours bring to the market.
I want to talk now about the houses. I've seen the show house. I think they look amazing. We're sitting in one of them right now. What does a house in Mi Vida Garden City entail? Talk to us about the finishing, the number of bedrooms, maybe the facilities, and of course, more importantly, the price.
So we've got 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments here at Mi Vida. I think the biggest thing that you'll notice is really the design of the houses that we have, and there's a lot of input from our partners in India, in terms of the layouts and things like that. So our designs are very efficient. We love lots of natural light, lots of natural ventilation, so none of the houses face each other. We've been quite categoric about, how we sort of space them out. You'll never have to switch on the lights during the day, which again for us is important. But also it's just efficient use of space for us. So you won't find things like unnecessary corridors that sort of block light, are not functional for you as an individual, but it's space that you pay for when you're buying a house. So you'll see that we've cut all of that out and we've tried to dedicate as much space as we can to the actual living areas in the apartments. In terms of the finishes, we've obviously been quite specific about the kind of look and feel that we want for these apartments. I think Kenyans today are spoilt for choice, when it comes to houses, and we want them to look at these houses and say, actually, we really like Mi Vida. If you look at the finishes in our houses, it's probably what you would generally pay for a 22, 25 million shilling house, and we're giving it to you, at a much lower price than that.
So a lot of people in Nairobi, within Kenya even, rent spaces. Why would it be very important for them to now look at investing in an apartment like this?
I'll give you a classic example. If you're living, and 90% of Nairobians rent, but we're saying to you, if you're renting a place, say even for 50,000 shillings a month, that comes to 600,000 shillings a year. Multiply that by 5, it's 3 million shillings that you've paid out with nothing to show for it. And that's a decent size chunk of money, that's a 20% down payment on a 15 million shilling property. So really what we're doing is trying to educate people and saying, well, you know what, can you up that 50 to even 60,000 or 65,000 shillings but take a mortgage from a bank? And then you know that every month you're paying something, but you're paying something towards owning a home. People tend to shy away from banks. You know, they say it's a long-term commitment, 15, 20 years, not sure if we want to commit to that. What if something happens to me? What if I lose my job? But that's where insurance steps in, and anybody taking a mortgage in Kenya is required to take an insurance policy that actually covers you for, you know, death, disability, retrenchment, things like that. So I think it's just educating people and saying to them that I think the first step towards, you know, a good investment is owning a home.
Garden City, the area around Garden City, was it strategic? And what sort of drove that decision? It's just because there's a shopping mall or any other reason?
So Garden City was obviously our first choice, and it made sense because Actis actually owns 47 acres here that we purchased some time ago. And we've got a plan for Garden City as the area itself, you know, so, and it all sort of ties into the live, work, play theme that we have going on, you know. So even after the apartments come up, we've still got plans for a hospital to come up here. You know, we've got plans for hopefully, you know, a conference facility or something else of the sorts. But what we're trying to do is really add value to the residents around here. The other reason it made sense for us is we've seen so many new corridors opening up just by virtues of the roads being built. Mm-hmm. So Thika Road 2007 was a 2-lane highway. It's now a 12-lane super highway. You know, commuting is so much easier. But there's a bit of a gap in terms of residential around this corridor. So if you go to look at it, if somebody's looking for a house around here, they're not really spoilt for choice. And that's where we sort of saw a gap in the market and said, well, this is where we'd like to build.
So tell us about the outdoor area and, you know, the activities, amenities.
Sure. I mean, so what we've tried to do here at Mi Vida is really sort of give a host of amenities. We've got over an acre of just green space and amenities that our residents can use. You know, we'll have a rooftop barbecue deck that residents can come and enjoy. They want to hold private functions, they're able to do that. We have 2 swimming pools, so a 22-meter adults pool, a kiddies pool next to it, both heated. In terms of the outdoor activity, we'll have an outdoor gym, a 300-meter jogging track, and just lots of outdoor space really for residents to be able to enjoy, because what you notice now with a lot of developments is that they're concrete jungles, you know, and you need a place for kids to play. The other thing that we've been quite precious about is ensuring that all our amenities are fully pedestrianized. So you'll never have cars driving in and around the areas where your kids are playing. And I think that's quite important, because the last thing you want is kids riding their bikes, dodging cars.
Talk to us about the creche.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll also have a daycare facility in the building. I think that's important. We've seen increasingly, you know, mothers having to deal with a household not turning up to work, having to go late to work because of that. And so that's quite helpful for situations like that. So it's the convenience that we're trying to provide. In terms of pricing, our 1-beds range from about 8 million, going up to about 16.5 million for our 3-beds.
So why middle-income houses as opposed to low-income houses or high-income houses?
For a number of reasons. I mean, we're mandated to do all three, but middle income is really where the growth is at the moment. And you know, according to research and statistics, the middle income bracket or segment is set to grow by 7,500 households on a yearly basis between now and 2024. But you know, it's a growing middle class, and they're really the ones that are stepping up. And we're passionate about people owning homes, you know, so we really want to, it's about educating people out there as well and saying, you know, just why does it make sense for you to own a home instead of rent?
So now I've bought the house, whether it's a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom.
Okay.
What are the recurrent charges once, you know, the property has been signed off?
So I mean, it's the same as anybody would face. You pay a service charge on a monthly basis that sort of covers for your, your garbage disposal and things like that, and just your security and all the amenities around here. But other than that, it's just your regular bills, your electricity, your water, and all of that. Other than that, you don't really have recurrent bills that you're paying.
Okay, and I mean, I've seen them, I love them, but how does one arrange for a tour?
A number of different ways. You can get in touch with us via any of our social media platforms, reach out to us directly, give us a buzz. Our sales executives are always on, happy to assist. We're also happy to arrange private viewings, for people who might not want to come in during our opening hours, or they're only free on a Sunday. We'll book a private viewing for them, and one of ourselves will be available to show them around.
Thank you so much, Krupa Chohan, for talking to us and shedding some light on why we need to invest in these properties. And of course, you can arrange a viewing and come and see for yourself why this is a good investment. Remember, Mi Vida, my home, my life.